Hi everyone. I just wanted to explain to you the critical assignment, which is also the task stream assignment, and that is the collaboration guide to home, school, and community to support students with disabilities. So first, I want to talk about the observation hours that are needed for the critical assignment, and there's three options. This was posted in the beginning of the semester. The first option is you can just volunteer at a school that you have access to. If you have clearance, you can volunteer at the school. If you have clearance from the teacher, you can interview teachers and observe a meeting and also a school community engagement. You can observe through your own experiences. That is through people you know, through people that will give you permission. It could be you could reach out to friends that are teachers or friends that are other professionals in the education realm. And lastly, you can observe virtually. You are going to be observing videos via the internet that are public, and you're responsible for finding the appropriate videos that meet the criteria for your critical assignment. So let's talk more about that. This is going to be in three parts. So the first part, you are asked to interview a general education or special education teacher. It needs to be a teacher that deals with inclusion or will teach kids that have established conditions, established disabilities. You are going to interview the teacher about how he or she works with parents to support student learning for kids with special needs or identified disabilities. What you are going to address in your interview is you're going to ask the teacher about screening or assessment procedures for kids with disabilities. You are also going to ask the teacher what he or she uses the assessment results for, specifically, and how. Ask the teacher what accommodations or modifications he or she provides for students with disabilities. Also ask the teacher what best practices he or she implements to encourage an effective full inclusion of kids with disabilities. You are going to reflect on these the three criteria right here: the assessment, what the assessment's used for, and the best practices, and also the accommodations, which is not here. The accommodations. So the first four, you're going to reflect on the content from your text and try to make sense of the information that you received based on the content that you have read in this course so far. So I want you to demonstrate that you have internalized and understood the content enough that you can apply it through your interview by making sense of what the teacher said. For example, if the teacher is discussing accommodations that he or she uses for kids with disabilities, and you've heard of these accommodations, then you might want to go back to the text and bring in more information from the text. So when you take information from the text, make sure that you cite it. So in parentheses, give me the author's name and then the year it was published. That's just so I know what's coming from the text and what's coming from you. Lastly, you are going to conclude this section with your own personal reflection. What did you think of the interview? Did the teacher use or mention terms or practices that you're familiar with based on this course? And what did you learn from the interview? Then you're going to move on to part 2. And you are going to either observe a recording or watch a live meeting between a teacher and another professional that focuses on students with disabilities. The other professional can be a special ed teacher, it can be an ESE resource teacher, it can be a school psychologist, or any other kind of therapist. Just make sure that you have the permission of all the individuals involved if you're recording them or if you are viewing a live meeting. So you are going to address what was discussed in the meeting. What adjustments or accommodations were discussed, if any? What was your reflection on the level of collaboration? Now, we've talked about levels of collaboration in the book and in our collaboration module. So reflect on what was the level of collaboration between the two professionals. What was your reflection on the level of individualized instructional planning? Now, that is what we're supposed to be doing with kids with disabilities and all kids, all students in general. We're supposed to be using our assessment data to guide our instruction and make it more individualized and appropriate. So what was the level of individualized instructional planning? And lastly, a personal reflection. What did you think of the interview? Did the teacher use or mention terms or practices that you're familiar with, so the teacher or the professional. And what did you learn? And the last section, you are going to research a school community event or meeting. It could be a PTA sponsored event that is hosted to bring the school and the community together on behalf of students with disabilities to support their learning. So you're going to address, here we go, what kind of event is this, and what is the purpose of this event? Does this event make an effort for effective full inclusion of students with disabilities? Does this event include accommodations for students with disabilities to allow them some ease in full inclusion? How does this event try to incorporate family and community members? And lastly, what did you think about this event? Did the event incorporate terms and practices that you're familiar with, and what did you learn? Okay, so this is a bigger assignment. I want it to be thorough and detailed. If you are giving me 1 or 2 sentences and it's not really discussing the criteria, I won't give you credit for it. This is your largest assignment, so you should be spending the most time on this assignment, because this assignment is worth a great deal of your grade. What I'm expecting is that you cover each criteria thoroughly. You don't need to repeat yourself. You don't need to be redundant, but make sure that every criteria is covered. And also, when you're writing it up, I want you to give me a Word document. I want it to be double-spaced. Include a cover sheet that has your name, the name of the assignment, and your school, which is FIU. Include page numbers in the top right-hand corner. And then if you want to, you can include visuals or pictures, but just make sure that anybody that's in the picture that's not from clip art or public images, that they have given you a release and signed consent that you can use their image. Make sure that every person is consented. If you're using your own resources, your own experiences, make sure that you ask anybody that you're interviewing, anybody that you're observing, if it is okay that you do this, because otherwise, you could get in trouble, and we wouldn't want that. So just ask permission. It's always the easiest way. So, as I'm always available to help you with any kind of questions or concerns, I'm here to ensure that you are successful with this. So please do contact me with any kind of concerns that you have, or if you're not clear about something. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all of your collaborative experiences.